Day 14. Setting goals that matter. By this point in our journey, you have spent nearly 2 weeks developing a deeper understanding of yourself. You have examined your beliefs, your habits, your emotional responses, the stories you tell yourself, and the identity you are building. All of this work leads naturally to an important question. Where are you going? Personal growth is not simply about becoming more aware. Awareness is valuable, but it serves a purpose. It helps us make better decisions about the direction of our lives. Without direction, even the most disciplined person can feel lost. Without a meaningful destination, hard work often becomes exhausting rather than fulfilling. Without a clear sense of purpose, it becomes easy to drift from one distraction to another, reacting to circumstances instead of intentionally creating the future we want. This is why goals matter. Yet many people have a complicated relationship with goals. Some set goals enthusiastically at the beginning of each year, only to abandon them a few weeks later. Others avoid setting goals altogether because previous attempts ended in disappointment. Some achieve the goals they once dreamed about and discover that the satisfaction they expected never fully arrives. The problem is rarely the concept of goals themselves. More often, the problem lies in the type of goals people pursue. Many goals are inherited rather than chosen. Without realizing it, people absorb expectations from family, friends, society, and culture. They begin pursuing careers, lifestyles, possessions, and achievements because they believe those things are supposed to make them happy. Sometimes they do, sometimes they do not. One of the most surprising experiences a person can have is achieving something they wanted for years and discovering that it does not provide the fulfillment they expected. This happens because achievement and meaning are not always the same thing. A goal can be impressive without being personally meaningful. A goal can earn admiration from others while leaving the individual feeling empty. A goal can produce external success without creating internal satisfaction. For this reason, one of the most important questions you can ask yourself is not simply, "What do I want?" It is, "Why do I want it?" The answer often reveals whether a goal genuinely belongs to you or whether it has been borrowed from someone else's expectations. Imagine two people pursuing the same objective. Both want to increase their income. For one person, the goal is connected to freedom, security, and the ability to provide for their family. For the other, the goal is primarily driven by a desire to impress people they barely know. From the outside, the goals appear identical. Internally, they are completely different. One is connected to deeply held values. The other is connected to external validation. When challenges arise, the first person is far more likely to remain committed because their motivation comes from something meaningful. The second person may lose momentum as soon as the approval they seek becomes unavailable. This is why lasting motivation often grows from purpose rather than pressure. Goals that matter are usually connected to something deeper than achievement itself. They reflect values. They express priorities. They represent a vision of the person you want to become and the life you want to create. Another common mistake people make is focusing exclusively on outcomes while ignoring the process required to achieve them. They become obsessed with reaching the destination and pay very little attention to the person they must become along the way. Consider someone who wants to write a book. The finished book is the outcome. However, the outcome is created through a process that includes writing consistently, developing patience, improving communication skills, and continuing to work even when inspiration is absent. The real transformation often occurs during the process. By the time the goal is achieved, the individual has become a different person. This is one of the reasons goals can be so powerful when approached correctly. They do not simply give us something to pursue. They give us an opportunity to grow. The destination matters, but the journey matters just as much, perhaps even more. A goal that requires discipline helps develop discipline. A goal that requires courage helps develop courage. A goal that requires resilience helps develop resilience. The achievement eventually ends. The growth remains. As you think about your own goals, it is worth considering the difference between goals that excite you and goals that merely sound impressive. Excitement often contains valuable information. It points toward possibilities that resonate with your interests, values, and aspirations. That does not mean every exciting idea should be pursued immediately. However, it does suggest that paying attention to genuine enthusiasm can provide important clues about the direction that feels meaningful to you. At the same time, meaningful goals are rarely free from fear. Many people assume that confidence must come before commitment. In reality, uncertainty often accompanies the most worthwhile pursuits. The goals that have the greatest potential to transform your life are frequently the ones that feel intimidating. They challenge existing beliefs, require new skills, and demand levels of growth that may feel uncomfortable. This is normal. If a goal requires you to become a larger version of yourself, some degree of discomfort should be expected. Growth and uncertainty are close companions. The key is not to eliminate uncertainty before taking action. The key is to move forward despite it. As you continue developing a stronger mindset, begin viewing goals not as tests of your worth, but as vehicles for growth. Success is not proof of value. Failure is not proof of inadequacy. Both are simply outcomes that provide information. What truly matters is whether the goal encourages you to become the person you want to be. A meaningful goal should challenge you without consuming you. It should inspire effort without requiring perfection. It should contribute to a life that feels authentic, rather than a life designed solely to meet the expectations of others. Most importantly, it should move you closer to your values. When goals align with values, motivation becomes more sustainable. When motivation becomes more sustainable, consistency becomes easier. And when consistency becomes easier, progress becomes inevitable. As you move into the second half of this 30-day journey, take some time to think carefully about where you are heading. Not where other people expect you to go. Not where social pressure is pushing you. Not where fear wants to keep you. Where do you genuinely want to go? The answer does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be complete. It simply needs to be honest. Because meaningful goals are not discovered by looking outward. They are discovered by looking inward. And once you identify them, they can become powerful guides for the life you are creating. Reflection questions. 1. What goals are most important to you right now? 2. Why do those goals matter? 3. Are your goals aligned with your values or with the expectations of others? 4. What type of person would you need to become in order to achieve those goals? 5. Which goal excites you the most, even if it also makes you uncomfortable? Daily action step. Choose one goal that genuinely matters to you. Write down why it is important and how achieving it would improve your life. Then identify the first 3 actions required to begin moving toward it and commit to completing one of them within the next 24 hours. Success affirmation. I pursue goals that align with my values, my purpose, and the person I'm becoming. Each step I take brings me closer to a meaningful and fulfilling future.